Howdy, folks. Just finally turned it on here. Was able to figure out YouTube is not very instrumental when it comes to live streaming or scheduled streaming. I guess they rely on everybody else's um, streams, as it were, because it's not as easy to find that live button. Where is it? Where it's just took me 2 minutes to find out exactly where it was. It's hidden in a little corner. Last time I streamed through YouTube alone instead of with something practical like, say, StreamYard. Um, Last time I streamed, it got cut off. That was my own fault. As opposed, I mean, the computer got shut off and then it came back, and then I wasn't able to get the stream back because, well, I couldn't figure out how to reconnect. So hoping that it doesn't happen again, but I don't expect it to. And good evening, folks. I see there's a few of you out there already. I am finishing up a box here for Mr. Gary Varigan, and I'll be doing if he's out there. Well, he'll be out there any time now, but I'll be doing Big D's box next. Yeah, he's ordered a hobby box, and I've got a couple more orders on the way. So the soldering with Javi is going to be. Since I got a few orders, I am no longer caught up. You know how it is. And let's see. I want to make sure that yeah, I thought so. I don't like this at all. This particular plug. Hey, how's it going, Bobby? This particular plug is not behaving nicely. It's I like to tug on them to make sure that I get a good seal on each one, and that one is not. I keep. Granted, I pull pretty hard, but I don't want and none of this stuff should come apart. But I'm paranoid, so let's see here. Yank out the old soldering gun because it is soldering with Javi. Good evening, Troy. How's it going? Let's see here. I'll clean up the desk a little so you guys can, well, you case too far away to see what I'm doing, but one of these days I'll have like an overhead cam or something like that. How are you, Dave? Good to see you. And hopefully Dave will be able to join me on the next one. He's I can't bring anybody else in because today is my last day of. Tomorrow I get the new the minutes from the free restream, so and it's just not worth it for me with this little show to pay $20 a month. That's just nuts, considering I don't make any money off it. So and now we've got our soldering gun. How are you, Dennis? Let's see. Dennis, I just sent you a message. Let me see if I got a response from you yet. And I did. Let me take care of some office work here, and I shall Copy. And one last item to check off. Boom. And this is paste. And well, we don't want to add that extra 0 on there. That would be bad. Anyway, let me close that up. So get back to you guys here. So how is everybody this evening? Yep. Oh, anytime, Johnny. I mean, again, if you got any questions, I'm happy to help. Let's see. Turn on my soldering iron. Place is a little bit of a mess because I'm still, believe it or not, unpacking. Where did I put my soldering flux? Smells like soldering flux. Okay. That was easy. Now let's see if it stays in the connector. So I was saying earlier to you guys, if for those of you that were here, I have a connector here in one particular terminal. Maybe it's just the wires are, maybe it's just the angle, who knows. For some reason or another, it does not want to stay in there. But I am pulling it with a lot of force. But I do that with all of them. I give them a good tug because I don't want any of these coming apart. Even though it's all sealed up in a box, you never know with the postman. And I don't need that on my conscience, or rather on my plate for, Okay, that seems to be good. That's definitely good and good. That's not going in. And so I'm done with this one. And now we'll knock out another hobby box, and by the end of the evening, I shall test it, run it, whatever. Oh boy, those messages came up quick. Hang on. Yes, Zoom, I'm home again. It's good to be home. Dave, I'm working on your box, Dave. I'll be done with it tonight. God willing. And let's see. That's Big D, Dave, is the one I'm talking to. Sweet. So this is going to be, at the moment, there is not much here except the panel connected to the, I did a little bit of soldering, but now I got to put everything together. First, let's grab a fan. And put the fan in there. So we are going to watch this session. You're going to see all the completion of your box, Big D. So here we go. This fan goes this way. Make sure all the fans blow out, not in. And then I'll get the old screw over here, lock it in place. There's a specific little slot where the fan drops in. So even if I didn't screw this in place, it's locked in with the top and the bottom. Regardless, I like to put that little extra screw there. Dave, I'll send you the invoice sometime this evening. Remind me again, and in a little while, and I'll pop out and send one to you. Not a problem. All right. Always make sure that the settings are correct. So, and I know the dip switches by memory, obviously. So I know the dip switches by memory. I know the connectors by memory. The first couple boxes, I had to keep reminding myself, and I had to put little things up there. I know the pinouts by memory. I mean, it is now all old hat. Alrighty. Evening, Clyde. How are you? Oh, that's cool. That's interesting, Zoom. Interesting indeed. Yeah, the M542s. That is correct. The M542. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. 6 down, 7 up, and 8 down. Alrighty. Next. This one's correct. It's not rocket science, and it's all listed on my website. I'm not doing anything more than saving somebody a lot of time and trouble. Motor cable, motor cable. I was busy soldering motor cables before I left the property, and they're all just stacked up in this box along with it, all my other wires. So let me just clear it out here. I want to get ahead, so the only thing I need to do is just solder some motor connectors and plug in some plugs. Plug in some stepper drivers. I even bought extra plugs so I could wire all the plugs up, which I have. You see, I got all the little green plugs wired. So all I have to do is screw in the connectors and plug them in. But I haven't been able to catch up, or rather, I haven't been able to get ahead. I've been able to catch up. I haven't been able to get ahead because, well, frankly, one, I got a life aside from this, and 3 businesses aside from this volunteerism. But secondly, and most importantly, and thankfully, I guess, I keep getting orders. So that must mean that you guys need my services. That's a beautiful thing. I'm happy to help. Just, I'm still waiting on the first few people to, to post some pictures of their machines working and stuff, because I'm doing this for you guys and everybody's thanking me, and that's a beautiful thing. But show me the love in the form of the occasional video. I'd love to see this thing out there working, and because if not, what's it all for? That was horrible. Zoom, haven't been able to catch up because I haven't used enough mustard. Oh, that one hurt. That one actually physically hurt. Funny. Let's see here. That would be over there. That would be over there. And that would be over there. Mustard. Lot of work and beta testing there. Where? Not here. There are no beta tests here. This is all just after it's done, test it. When the motors go brrr or something or don't work, I know exactly what it is. Swap some wires or identify the wires that are missing, and done. It's a pretty simple procedure. Well, after 25 of these, you would think that I know what I'm doing. I'd hope you'd think that. Let's see here. Let's grab. Great. Out of reach. I'll worry about that later. Grab the power supply. Okay, that's good. I will need. This will be for the motors. Alrighty. I'm flinging the stripped solder over my shoulder because there's a garbage can there, but I probably bat like maybe 100. Certainly not batting 1,000. All right, let's see here. I need 2 small fans. Just so happens I have 2 small fans right here. So I don't know if you guys are into sci-fi or anything like that, but I binged watch. I say started before I left. I watched one episode on Netflix. No, sorry, Amazon Prime of Uploaded. It's called. It's a pretty interesting sci-fi flick. And night before last, I caught up. I caught up the entire season 1, all 12 episodes, and that was like from 11 p.m. to maybe 5 in the morning. I don't know. It was an interesting evening, but I just really got into it. It's a pretty cool show. You guys ever notice that when you get into a program and you binge watch, it's like with a book or like with anything else that you do, you all of a sudden that not that becomes your life, but that becomes your mode of thinking. I mean, you're always thinking about that. Let's see here. I mean, I know I am. We'll use blue. All right, let me cut it evenly here and strip. Let's see. Hey, Matt, how's it going? I'm streaming at 480. Oh, that might be the camera because I forgot my other camera. Let me see if I can. Let me see if there are any. I don't want to mess with the settings because last time I did that, let me see here. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with the settings because last time I did that, I ended the stream. Let me see if I can Should I attempt to? Oh, I got it. Let me open a new window. No, that's not good. That won't do. Eh. Yeah, this StreamYard is horrible this way. It's just no control, and I don't know. But this is my last. I'm sorry. YouTube is horrible this way. I do not have my StreamYard. I used up all my hours on StreamYard as of a week ago or whatever. I think it was no, not Friday. It was Thursday. I don't know, but tomorrow is when they reset. So I'll be back, tomorrow, and I got a decent stream. I mean, I definitely got fantastic resolution here at home, but I don't have a fantastic camera. So what you gonna do? Because I left it up there, the my good camera, my Logitech, and I don't know. Maybe I'll buy another one. It's about time that I bought a spare camera for a different stream. Okay, I need a red. There is a red. And now before I finalize the hookup here, I will put the old heat shrink. Those of you that have been following know that it's very important to do the heat shrink because before you finish your last connection or solder or whatever, because if not, well, then you basically got to take it apart. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. I think that maybe by next time I'm going to set this up a little differently. I might bring a table out here so I could sit behind the table, because this bench is it's so uncomfortable. I mean, I like the fact that I can sit up here and do stuff on the table, the bar stool, but not being a tall guy, it's very, very annoying when I have to get in and out of this thing. And not everything is available to me at arm's distance, because with God knows how many little parts, it's back at the in the container, I've got it all within arm's reach. I could just spin the chair around. It's fantastic. I'm thinking of doing something similar. I might put the camera over here, background on these things, and a desk right here, and anytime I need, I can stand up real quick, grab whatever I need from the table, and then just work back here, because I got 6 feet here. It's just, oh, okay. Speaking of reaching around for things here, I need to find where are you? There it is. So tomorrow is the 4th. I'll be shipping out a box tomorrow, maybe the 5th, because I got to test it and stuff. So Probably the 5th. I'll be testing it, which is ahead of schedule of the 7th. So that's always a good thing. Excuse a little noise here for a second, guys. The old heat shrink. Let me catch up on the chat because I don't have anybody to read for me. If there is anything to catch up on. Yeah, there is. All right. Let's see here. Yep. Tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. For those of you that are of the Mexican persuasion, I have only met one Mexican maker in the entire community. She is more of a 3D printer than a CNCer. So haven't met many Mexican. We don't get many Mexicans around here, believe it or not, down in Miami or in Central Florida. I mean, there's a few, but Cinco de Mayo is not big around here. Now, on the other hand, May the 4th be with you is. So that's a beautiful thing. All right. So now that I've got my fans hooked up here, I'm going to solder them in the correct orientation. Okay. Oh, I always forget the correct orientation. So after I test it all out, I gotta, I should. Let me see. Where's my? I should plug these things in because it's a pain in the butt to test them afterwards. But oh well, I got to do what you got to do. Let me get back to the. Here we go. Ooh, Taco Tuesday. That sounds good. Yeah, if yeah, we don't want a wall in between Florida, so. Okay, so as usual, gotta get off this thing to get some screws. All right, so we got ourselves the The reason I'm doing this with a manual screwdriver is because I'm trying to remember where I put, there it is, my non-manual bit. So I can just go, and my other screwdriver is on the other side of the table, so I'm not getting that. Nope, that's no good. Got to do it on this side. There we go. Tacos. Tacos are good. All righty. We got ourselves this. We got ourselves this. We got ourselves this. All right, so this goes there, this goes there. All right, this is the 12 volt supply. This is the 24 volt supply. Here we have our everything else. So no way around it. I gotta go. If you'll excuse me for about a couple minutes, folks, I gotta go to the house and get one of my power supplies that I forgot in there. Be right back. Righty. Hey, Paul, how are you? Oh, that's funny. Let's see that. Every time I look at the upper left, hang on a second, because I think I'm mirrored. So I might have to look at the right. Upper left part of my picture. Trying to see the Dalek. Got it. Yeah, it's that's funny. Yeah, that is the handle. I don't know if you guys can see that well, but that stick that comes out is not the gun, a Dalek gun. It's the handle of that red drill press that I got back there. I don't know if you can see it. Paul, thank you. Doing well, and I hope you're doing well as well. Always verify that it's on 110 volts because, well, the first few didn't come that way. And that gets to be a pain in the butt when it doesn't turn on. All right. And now to connect everything. All right. First of all, let's do the old. You got to do this one and that one. So. Okay. These are the motor connectors. They go to the these things, but I'm not going to connect them yet because they get in the way when you connect them the wrong way. Have a good one, Matt. Thanks for dropping in. I'll be, it's 8:45 already. Time flies when you're not having fun. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. And this goes through this mishmash of cables. All right. Here are my motor connectors. I always like to. That's a beautiful thing about having these little slots is I could just stick all the wires in the slots and get it out of the way for the moment, which is very handy. Okay, these, and then I got this. So I will need, let's use yellow and blue for this one. We are now connecting all our minor supplies to the big 36 volt supplies, and we're connecting all the individual motors to the the individual drivers to the supply as well. So let's see here. We have our plus and our minus, and we have our plus and our minus. Power supply. Even though they're all wired the same, I always confirm every sometimes they put the wrong connection on there. And I mean, I'll tell you, I have had situations where great, now I can't find and I'm sure that's the one that fell. Here it is. I've had situations where motors, have a good one, Clyde. I've had situations where motors, identical motors, they all look exactly the same. They're all green, black is the A, and red and blue is the B. Well, not all of them, because this one, red and blue, was the A, and green and black was the B. And green and black were reversed. So I got to tell you, it's not always apparent which one is which. We make mistakes, so do the Chinese. So sometimes, especially if you're doing a repetitive task over and over and over and over, and et cetera, ad infinitum, you're bound to make a mistake, as they sometimes do, and then you end up with a motor with the coils opposite from every other motor as far as the color coding is concerned. I'm a big fan of strict color coding, but when it comes to this, there's too many variations. So as long as I know where all the wires go, I'm happy. All right. And I got those. All I need now are 4 of these puppies. One, 2, 3, and 4. So I had an interesting um, week, or rather weekend. What I don't even know what day. Oh yeah, this is Monday, so weekend. I had an interesting weekend. Um, Yesterday, my daughter um, graduated. Rather, no, that's not true. Yesterday, my daughter had a little graduation surprise, I would have to say. My daughter's graduating high school, and unfortunately, she's not because of the corona thing. So her and a bunch of friends of hers were all a little bummed out, all a little depressed and stuff. So the parents decided to take it upon themselves to do a, you've seen them all over the news, the caravan. So I got in the car with my wife, went over at 2 o'clock to a nearby mall, met up with with 13 other cars. There were 14 of us total. We created a caravan. Now, the person that organized it, I guess they did a good job because it turned out fine. Um, However, the eh, it was long. It was longer than I expected. That's for sure. Always double check. Here we go. B minus is over here. So it's a pretty cool setup. We had a bunch of cars. We had a list. Unfortunately, we didn't have any way to communicate to each other because nobody thought to, the coordinators didn't think to put everybody on not Snapchat. What the hell is it? WhatsApp, on WhatsApp or something similar. So what happens? Well, we all got together. We decorated our cars. That took all but 10 minutes. And then I'm there 50 minutes waiting for everyone to congregate, other people that came late to decorate their cars. And then when we're all ready to leave, it took 20 minutes for them to start the first car. I mean, it's a pretty simple concept. You have we had a list of all the cars in order. So at least they gave us that. The color of the car and the person, because we know most of the kids because they're our daughter's friends, some of the kids anyways. And then so we told them, so they told us the name of the kid. First person would lead to their house. It wasn't a big circle. It wasn't that they're all in the same school, same general area. And so we all followed. And it's difficult. It's Miami. There's not that much traffic because of Corona, but and especially in the middle of a day on a Sunday. We finally got out at 3 p.m. We started. We weren't done till 5:30, but it was quite fun. Once we got started, we had a bunch of cars honking up a storm. It was great. And I don't have any. I'm going to have to use the white because I don't have any. Yeah, well, white will do. A nod's as good as a blink to a blind bat. So we were second to last in line, and we got to we went to the first house. They would pick up the person, and while they're picking them up, we're either going around the block or just waiting for them, because sometimes those blocks are just like impossible to navigate, those some of those areas, so it wasn't worth it. And then the first person would join the tail end of the car. We'd get word somehow that happened, and then second person would go to their place and pick up their kid. So, everybody's all socially distant and all, et cetera, et cetera. And that's very nice. And it worked out very well. When we got to my daughter's house, when we got to our house, picked up my daughter, and her boyfriend was here too, because, they're an item, how it is. Good kid. And so, they were surprised. They were pleasantly surprised, because we went around and we still had one or two more people to pick up. And so it was funny because, as we're picking them up, the kids were enjoying them. I'm kind of sorry that my daughter wasn't one of the first ones, because the first ones got to enjoy every single pickup and all that, but it doesn't matter. It's still a fun time had by all. But at the end, we all met at the parking lot of a park, and we all had caps for them, so they all had their caps. They took 6 feet apart, took a huge picture there. But who could keep kids away from each other? So maybe 6 feet was not actually 6 feet. Police officer came by and said, "Okay, you got your picture. You got your picture yet? Take a picture real quick. We got to go." Yeah, the usual. It is Miami. And then that's about it. That was pretty much our Sunday. That was very nice. Everybody enjoyed themselves. Got a lot of video. It was a good time had by all. And that was a little caravan. I will say this. If ever I want to keep a secret from my daughter, wise advice, everybody has one in their family, one or more. Never tell my mom anything. My wife made the unfortunate mistake, and it happens. We know better, but it happens. And he said, "Listen, I can't talk now. I'm in a caravan, and we're surprising Annie," and then she told her what. So then, not 10 minutes later, my mom, of course, calls Annie to say hi. That's my daughter, obviously. And oh, did the caravan arrive yet? That was about 20 minutes before we got there. So the semi-surprise was broken. They still had no clue, because they hadn't seen one of these and what it's capable of, and what we do, and going around. And half the kids were in minivans, and they were, when we got to the neighborhoods and we're traveling slowly and safely, they're all with their heads sticking out of the minivans and all and all that. So, but all in all, like I said, fun had by all. Everybody had a great time. And so that was that. Okay. So we have our positives and we have our negatives. So I wired up the 4 connectors for the 4 stepper drivers. This is the V plus V minus. So we got coming from these motors, you have the A plus, A minus, B plus, B minus. Coming from these connectors, you have the V plus, V minus, which is the 36 volts that powers these connectors. And then from these connectors, which go to the board, come the low voltage or push pull, not push pull, push and direction, plus and minus, of course. And that is part of the wiring scheme. Hate it when that happens. Where is my magnet? There is my magnet. You know, I got a rubber floor that bounces. Nothing rolls around. Everything bounces here. It hides in every little crevice. Nope, that wasn't it. So when you drop a little tiny screw, namely a terminal screw, it bounces far away. Nine times out of 10, what I end up doing is usually getting the broom out and gotcha. Holy cow, that went far. That's got to be a good 8 feet. So, yeah, I'm yanking out the old manual screwdriver because that's the only way to turn these terminal things. Good old Craftsman P2. Nothing like the classics. Great feel. It's even magnetized. And I'm glad it is because I just dropped it again. It's one of those days. All right, let's try this, what they call the right way. There we go. Now, that was a funny movie. I was just thinking of the movie. If you guys ever saw the movie Rocket Man, yeah, at least I am consistent. If you guys ever saw the movie Rocket Man, now that is a classic. That is well, for me it's a classic. It's well, maybe not classic's not the right word, but I love that movie. Harlan Williams in that movie is just hilarious. He's a technician who through some crazy fluke of events gets to go on the first Mars mission. It's a comedy, it's Disney, it's funny. And And not to be confused with Rocketeer, which is Disney, but not funny. Well, I guess it is in certain places. But Rocket Man is just it's hilarious. I highly recommend it if you guys haven't seen it. If you like comedies, semi stupid comedies, because this is this sometimes I know some people don't like really really dumb comedies, and I don't like them either. However, there are certain comedies like, for instance, the Zucker and Zucker films, Airplane 1 and 2, Naked Gun, Police Squad, those Top Secret, those are all, even Kentucky Fried Movie to a certain degree, but that one's not the same league. All those films that I just mentioned are funny on, I would call, probably three different levels. You've got the slapstick funny, you got the stupid funny that some people enjoy, and then you've got the serious face sarcastic funny. There's another level though. There's another level too. And that is, I'll call it the highbrow funny. The intellectual funny. There are some things that go on there, I'm that um I, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example. Oh, for instance, in Airplane 2, I believe it was. All right, Stryker is thinking back to his days when he was in the insane asylum, and they're having two different conversations at once. That's the funny part, because they're talking about Stryker, and there's a, well, how is he doing, Doc? The girlfriend asks, and he goes, well, Stryker, and he starts explaining yada yada yada, some conditions that he has, and then so she goes, is that a good sign? Now, when she was asking, is that a good sign, the camera was on the doctor, who was at the moment placing a chart, the patient's chart, Stryker's chart, on a hook that said, and the sign said, place charts here. So now imagine, if you will, that scene, and the girl goes, is that a good sign? And he turns around smiling. It does the job. And then he's serious again, and nobody thinks anything of it. And if you don't get it, which if you don't get it like quick, or if you don't watch the movie 10 times, and then those are the kind of comedies I I get a kick out of. Alrighty, we've got everything except the actual power wired to it, and that's what we're working on now. Okay, so this one doesn't need two, it needs one, so we'll put both on this. Okay, good. All right. This is ground, this is ground. Doobie doobie doo. Of course, my wonderful trusty, there it is, screwdriver. Be doobie doobie. And I don't know if you guys are, I mean, most of you are certainly around my age, if not older. So many of you have not, I don't know, maybe you have, maybe you've had kids or grandkids that have enjoyed Phineas and Ferb. Phineas and Ferb are just, it's classic. It's those kind of shows, Phineas and Ferb, Scrubs, um, Animaniacs. Let me tell you what they all got in common. They've got an incredible reference to pop culture from our time. I'm talking pop culture from pretty much the 70s and 80s, when we were kids, when most of us, some of us were kids, when you know, even 60s. Uh, I mean, it's fantastic listening to that. Um, it's very similar in many respects to I would say to Bugs Bunny and Rocky and Bullwinkle. Rocket Man's available on Amazon only. That's a shame. Well, figure it's Disney; they charge. But Bullwinkle and Rocky and Bullwinkle, and Looney Tunes. They were the yeah, it was the political commentator of their time. But more than that, there was a lot of pop culture reference of their time, because making fun of Cary Grant and the guy that goes yes, that guy, and I forgot his name in there were a lot of uh, characters that were very popular back then, movies and TV, that that those shows either made fun of or referenced. Very similar to our time with Animaniacs and shoot, come on, man. There we go. Very similar with Animaniacs and all that other stuff. So that's the way I see it. Rocky and Bullwinkle. When you go back, I mean, for those of you that are, I'm 54. For those of you that are in your 70s or possibly even late 60s or mid 60s and have watched Rocky and Bullwinkle at the time where you understood the references. I mean, I envy those times, because I watched them as a kid and I enjoyed them as a cartoon, not knowing that a reference to Potsylvania or Bullwinkle and I mean Boris and Natasha. Yeah, I knew Boris and Natasha were evil bad guys because of the Cold War and and Russia and this and that, but not like not to the extent. I mean, I must have been anywhere between maybe 7 and 12 years old, so I certainly wouldn't have, and that was a guy. I mean, women, at least or at least most girls, pay more attention to the world than guys do. It wasn't until my mid-20s when I started paying the world, if then. So it's kind of neat for those people who actually got it at the time. I started rewatching them later on in my 30s, and I go, "Holy cow! This is about the Vietnam War, and this is about and that's a reference to nuclear bombs, and that's a reference to this, and that's hilarious, and that's a reference to Kissinger, and I mean all those things that I still don't care about and didn't care about then. That's what it was a reference to, and it was funny. They made a lot of good sport about it. Let's see here. Okay, so I am going to countersink the hole. There we go. Now, I've got to plug it in because before I start messing with everything, I got to test all the power supplies and make sure that they are properly calibrated. One is 12 volts, one is 24, one is 36, and each one has their little thing. Volts DC, and here we go. All right. Okay, here's error number one. See, and this happens every now and then. It gets so frustrating sometimes, really frustrating. Luckily, this is only a swapping of plugs. But let me share something with you guys. Where are they all? See, I have one laying around here. I got them somewhere. Well, I'll try to describe it. On the power plug, I've got the this is where the power receptacle of the power plug goes in, and there's a lighted switch. I've ordered it from the same place. I order batches of 10 at a time, and I've got like 50 of them. And you plug in the power. Now, I wire them all exactly identically. The power light, this runs perfectly fine. The switch is working. When I turn it on, you see, power goes on. Oh boy, let me make sure power is correct. So when I switch them on, hang on a second. As you can see, all right, this power's on, that power's on, this power's on. I turned off the fans because I want to check the voltage before I connect them. I should have done that before. Well, the light turns off when I turn it on. Why? Because on some of these switches, the light is wired to the pins on the right. On some, the pins on the left. So my source and my feed, my source and my return have to be. I have to watch where those two little wires are soldered to. It's ridiculous. Okay. Okay, Dennis. You got it. I'll let me do that now for you. Hang on a second. Do it the easy way. If you're still on here, I will go ahead and go here. And let me do a quick standby, and I will shoot you an invoice right now through PayPal. Oh, wait a second. I did do that. Okay, Dennis. Yeah, Dennis is not the one that I was. I've got two people who are asking me for invoices, and I'm trying to get them straight in my head. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, Dennis, you're the motors, correct? Yes. Who had the? Somebody else had something else. Dave, thank you, Dave C. Okay, and you want Dave? Refresh my memory, because so I can just do it off the top of my head. What was it that you wanted again? You wanted a router box, was that correct? Or the manual spindle controller? And I'll shoot you one right now. It's the same price anyway, so let me just go ahead and send you the invoice. And while I wait for your response, and there you are. Okay, done. Sorry, Dave. Sorry it took me so long to take care of that, but got it knocked out there. All right, so we're good to go with that one. Now let us take care of this one. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so power on. Great, 35. Thank you, Dave. All set. I'll be sending one of those out as soon as, well, tomorrow. Okay, plus. Tomorrow or possibly the day after when I get this out to you. Let's see here. So minus and plus. That's more like it. All right. Light was definitely the output. Okay, so this should be down to 12. $12. Now that we got it down to 12 volts, let's see what I can do about this. All right, so yep, got fundage, buying parts. I will be buying parts tonight. I will probably be shutting the stream down in about a few minutes. And gonna get online and get some, as you say, parts with the fundage. Yep, exactly as I thought. Alrighty. And let me... There we go. All right, perfect. Well, folks, I am going to call it an evening because it's that time. It's 9:30. So you guys all have a wonderful evening, and I will see you all Wednesday, God willing. We'll do another. Well, we'll see what. I'll probably sit and do a bunch of soldering Wednesday, and maybe. Well, since my StreamYard is back, hopefully I'll give you guys a treat, and I'll give you guys some of that wonderful fireplace footage or lakeside footage or something. So you guys have a wonderful evening, and have a great day, and see you when I see you. Soon as I can figure out where I put the mouse and where I click to stop the video. There we go. Sweet. Remember, Dave, I mean, I'm assuming you know they're 10 millimeter to half-inch couplings. I just want to make sure you got the size right. They're 10 millimeter shaft, and it's obviously half-inch is the lead screw. So yeah, I'm a fan of solid couplings myself. I don't like any of that. I don't like those stretchy kinds. So anyway, so you guys have a wonderful evening. I'll catch you later once again, and good night. Oh, wait a second. I just saw your thing. They're 3-piece. Um, okay. If they're the 3-piece kind, I'd be careful with that because the 3-piece kind are made for machines where the shaft does not move. See, what happens is if you um, the 3-piece kind can separate. Okay, and the shaft right now, if I pull the shaft here, I'm pulling against the coupler. If that was a 3-piece shaft, I'd basically pull it right off. So unless there is some sort of a stop on the Y and on the A, again, I'm talking Gatton. If you have a different machine, then forget it. And on the Z, the entire no the Z is going to be okay because the Z is weighted. It's pushing on the coupler, so that's not going to be an issue. The X is going to be the same as the Y and the okay. So these do not. Oh, they're bolted to the centerpiece. Ooh, let me know about those. Send me a link, Dave. I'd like to look at those because I've been I'm interested in. People ask me all the time, hey, which one should I buy? And I'm a big fan of the solid ones. You know, which it's basically one piece and it's 2 set screws on each side. That's me. And the kind that grip as opposed to the set screws are in the I don't like the ones where the set screws go to the coupler because they can slip. I like the ones where the set screws actually go. It's like a split in the middle, and the set screw pushes them close because it's like a clamp, and those are my favorite. Anyway, so yeah, definitely send me that information, and I'll look forward to reading up on those. Have a wonderful evening, all, and Hubbard CNC Motor Couplings. Gotcha. And well, good night. I'll see you guys Wednesday ish, maybe. And end.